A lot of people forget, like, the way that email marketing has been set up is, hey, it's a great channel to just blast and get sales. For me, it's how do I help my subscribers with their lives through our products? If you can't get to the inbox, you're not going to be seen and you're not going to have revenue. The best way to sell a product is through your customers' testimonials.
Hey everyone, welcome to the eCommerce Traffic and Conversion Podcast. I'm Scott Brandley, and I'm here today with our special guest, Israa Alrawi. And she's an e-commerce email marketing and delivery expert, specializing in helping bootstrapped D2C businesses scale profitably through growth and retention strategies. As the founder of the Winbox, which is an awesome name, by the way, I love it. She uses her expertise to drive significant revenue increases and build strong customer relationships. Outside of work, Israa is a mother of 4 who enjoys reading, the beach, and her newfound hobbies of picking and gardening. What is picking?
Sorry, it's pickling.
Oh, pickling. Okay.
Yeah, we picked up a new hobby this year, and that's definitely pickling.
Pickling. Okay. Like different types of vegetables?
Yeah, I don't know. After I had my 4th kid, I started craving pickles all the time. And I was
Okay.
going through so many jars. My husband was like, "Why don't you just start pickling?" And I was like, "That's actually a good idea." So now we have 2 refrigerators, one upstairs and downstairs, and our downstairs is like packed, the top shelf with just like pickles because it's just easier. So it's mainly cucumbers, but we do like turnips and like cabbage and other stuff. But yeah, it's just
Okay. Hey, everybody's got to have a hobby, right?
yeah.
So
My kids enjoy it, so it's a good healthy snack.
awesome. Cool. So you said you're in Baltimore, right?
Yep.
How long have you lived there for?
I am going on 12 years, almost 13. So I actually got married and moved to Maryland permanently. Before that, I was basically state hopping. I worked for the DoD in my past profession, and I traveled all 20 East Coast, Midwest states for work. So I was in Virginia at last, and then now I'm here, and we've been here for almost 13 years.
Living the dream. Awesome. So how did you get into email?
Yeah, so I actually got into email marketing. I owned my own e-commerce store myself. In 2017, I launched it. We
Okay.
quickly scaled it through ads, but ads broke in 2018, which is where I attended a mastermind and I met somebody there, and they're like, just focus on email marketing. And I got into email marketing, and I just realized there wasn't a big space of professionals or experts in the D2C email marketing space at that time. I tried to reach out to agencies. Nobody would take on a smaller business because they're all, looking for bigger budgets. So I just decided, let me just learn it myself. And that's when I kind of just used my own e-commerce store to learn strategy, deliverability, tactics, the whole ESP system, infrastructure, how to get traffic, how to retain traffic. And in 2019, I was able to sell my store and become a full-time email marketer. So
Very cool. My story is actually similar to that, but I started back in 1997. So
nice.
about 20 years earlier. It was a little more Wild West back then.
Yeah, definitely. The start of email marketing was back then. So
Right. But I started a store similar to you, and I grew that, and then I got out of that and got into software. So that's kind of my background. But so email is an interesting topic. We all need it, but very few of us understand it, and especially the strategy behind it. So, like, when did you realize that there was a strategy behind email and that you could leverage to grow a business?
So back when I actually started my store, I actually jumped into the marketing world trying to figure out where can I add my like skill set somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of, dabbled in paid ads and social media and all of that. And I was okay at it, but then I realized what I was really good at is figuring out a funnel structure that drives your audience from, the top of the funnel of like not knowing you, seeing you on social media, to really becoming like, to kind of like bring them into an ecosystem where you can be very personal with them. And that's what email marketing kind of just does for you. You can get on a very personal level. And I connected with it because I like to be able to find out who my audience is and what can I do to help them, get where they want through the products, that we were selling. So I got into email marketing because of the personalization aspect of it. A lot of people forget like the way that email marketing has been set up is, hey, it's a great channel to just blast and get sales,
Mhm.
right? For me, it's how do I help my subscribers with their lives through our products? And I found email marketing plus copywriting, messaging, being very personal on that level really retained and really increased our loyalty and retention more through that. A lot of people in the industry have yet to catch up with that. So that's kind of like why I stuck with it and why the strategy works is because of the personalization aspect. You can't really get that on the paid ad level or social media, where email marketing, once you capture somebody's profile, you can find out a lot about them.
Right. I mean, that's a big aha moment, the personalization side of email, because I think a lot of people, I mean, I'm still guilty of it too. Like, I think of email blasting. I want to build a relationship, but at the same time, I want to promote and sell my product.
Right.
That's a difficult line.
It's a muscle that you need to practice a lot on, is how I see it. Because the most of the time my clients, that I onboard, the first thing I see is they don't send enough emails, and their thing is, well, I don't want to annoy my customers. But
Mhm.
the reality is they're afraid to have their customers basically reply or give them feedback, because a lot of clients and, a lot of founders and business owners, they have the sensitivity and attachment to their business. So if somebody gives you a negative feedback, like I'm a customer and I send you an email and I say I hate your product or, I wasn't satisfied with service, pretty much will take it very harsh, and it can impact you and impact your business. And I think that's where the line is, where founders need to understand that feedback is your best friend. It helps you create a better experience for your customer. It also helps you understand which are your, like, what problems are really your like problems you need to solve, and what are like just a customer having a bad day and sending you an email. So it's like it helps you like grow a thicker skin in the game,
Mhm.
and it helps you pull yourself out of the business and allows you to like really optimize it based on your customers' feedback, and it makes it better for you and them. And I think that's where like the biggest problem with a lot of my clients is we don't want to email them too much because they're going to start replying to us and giving us feedback we don't want to hear. So that's a big one. And another one, again, it's like, I don't want to annoy my customer, but in the DTC world, e-commerce, it's actually the easiest email marketing space, because most people who sign up to your list actually sign up voluntarily because they want something out of your business. They want a product, or they want to hear from you, or they signed up through social media. It's not like cold emailing where you are blasting an unknown user. So to me, I always have to like train them to say they signed up, they do want to do business, but you need to reframe your messaging around how does your business help them in their daily lives versus how great your products are.
Yeah. When you're talking about feedback, I mean, you're speaking my language, right? So that's what we do is we're a rating and review company.
Oh,
But
nice.
so I 100% agree. Feedback is actually one of the most important things that you can get, but it's probably one of the things that businesses don't want,
Yeah.
right? They just want to put their blinders on and just keep going and try to sell, sell, sell. But so I really like your approach. Can you give me an example of how personalizing an email strategy can help a business?
Yeah. So personalization has changed. The landscape kind of has changed. So if you ask people like the old way, what is personalization? they'll tell you, let's add their name into an email. And like
Mm-hmm.
everyone's like, oh, my name is in a subject line. Great. But they open it and it has nothing to do with them. Or like they say, let's send them an email because they added this thing to their cart or they viewed a product. And that's great and all. That's like, I call it like top personalization. It's not really talking to the customer at the level that they want to be talked to, basically. So one of the biggest personalizations that we work on now is zero party data, and I'm sure you probably heard a lot more about it in 24. We actually collect data on our customers now. So when they come into our store and a pop-up comes up, I'm actually working on a project right now. People will tell you, here, give us your email, we'll give you 10% discount. And then they'll
Mm-hmm.
send you a welcome series, and it's all about how awesome the product is and why we stack better than our competitor. And that's good. Like, you're honing on the problem, but you're missing a big piece. And that is, how does it help that person that's coming to your store? So now when I work with clients, the first thing I ask is like, what are the 3 top pain problems that your product solves? And then we use that as like the data. So when the pop-up comes up on your website, we don't just like tell you, hey, give us your email, we'll give you 10% discount. We say, let's get you to the right place, or let's help you figure out which product is best for you. Tell us which of these 3 problems you have. So once they, select that problem and then they give us their email and submit, we basically customize their emails from there. So like if you have sleeping problems and we're selling some type of products, our products include like sleeping problems, digestion, nutrition, whatever it is, whatever you selected, the email you're going to get is going to be specific to that problem, plus our recommendation, the top 3 or 2 recommendation that you should try. So we get to the level where, okay, this is what's keeping you up at night. Here's how we can help you with our product, versus we have this entire great line. Go ahead and pick something. So we get a little bit more personal on that. And there's other ways to personalize, figuring out when your readers are. So like one of my clients, we know that they open emails between 9 and 12 p.m. 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. That's their big time frame. So, and they're big readers. So we know when to send, like that's personalization and like understanding engagement with emails. So during that time of the week, we actually send helpful or useful articles basically to prime them. So like a day or 2 later, we can send them a product feature like basically ties back into that blog that solved it. It's like a problem solution blog. And then we give you the solution through the product like 2 days later after you've read the blog. And that helps like convert you. But before we convert you, we give you more information during the time that you actually read. So that's another way to like use your data to personalize your emails and really meet your customers where they want to be met.
Strategies over time, right? I mean, so you've collected their email, you've personalized it. How do you, I'm guessing that you want to keep them engaged over a period of time to get them to come back and buy.
Yes.
Do you have specific strategies on ways that you can engage a customer over time to keep them coming back or keep them engaged?
Yeah, so we actually use the segmentation and life cycle there. So each business has life cycles. Not every customer has the same life cycle. Most of the time you will see somebody say, okay, well, 30 days, our products are used in 30 days intervals. So somebody who bought it today will probably need it in 30 days. That's not always
Okay.
true for your customers. I have a client that has a 30-day interval product. However, it could be used for 60, 90, depends on how often somebody uses it. So what we do, we actually take that data segment out based on their purchase time. So like if somebody's bought frequently in 30 days, we put them in one bucket. If they bought in 60, 90, or even a year out, like they bought and they haven't come back and bought, we segment them out based on their purchase history and life cycle of repurchasing. And then we create those campaigns based on that messaging, like, hey, we understand. So like somebody who's on a 30-day repurchase, we know they're our most engaged and they will buy. So to them, it's more of like a reminder and more of like just reinforcement of like, thanks for coming back. Thanks for, hope for this product. How can we be more help? Maybe give them a bigger incentive to get like to stock up, just to increase their AOV, average order value, over time. And then you have like maybe somebody who doesn't come back over a year. And those people we want to be more, not aggressive, but like more forward in like, let's help you establish a routine. How can we help? Like, why are you using this so sparingly? Is it because you don't need it as often, or is it because you keep forgetting? Like, how do we? So the messaging changes based on the life cycle of their repurchase history.
Yeah, I mean, the strategy behind the emails is what I think is fascinating, and that's not talked about very often, right? It's
No.
especially in the business world. But I know like email has been changing lately, and the rules and things with Gmail and some of the big email providers. Can you give us a little bit more information on kind
Yeah.
of how the landscape's changing with email?
Yes, this is my favorite topic because I actually came through deliverability into email marketing, and I've been screaming at the top of my lungs since 2018 about it. But most email marketers have kind of just ignored it, kind of relied on their email service providers to take care of it. But in 2024, when we saw Google and Yahoo enforce deliverability, everybody's now becoming more aware of the issue. So deliverability is a huge topic, and it should be the forefront of your email program. And the reason is if you can't get to the inbox, you're not going to be seen and you're not going to have revenue. And this is where the debate of like, is email marketing dead? Email marketing has never been dead. It's you abusing the system, whether it's through practice or not having the right technical, records in place to align your domain with your email provider and the ISPs, Yahoo and Google, is the reason you're probably not seeing the results you want to see. So in 2024, Google and Yahoo enforced it. It's basically telling you got to align your records, your SPF, your DMARC, your DKIM, your key domain, your signature. Everything has to align to get you to the inbox. That's like the top of that's like the bare minimum that you can do for deliverability. And then it goes into more of your practices. We don't want to see a spam rate above 0.3%. Ideally, you want to be under 0.1%. And that goes back to your practice. How well are you cleaning your list? Are you sending relevant information? Stuff like that. So those are like the big ones. And then the unsubscribe link. Unsubscribe has always been enforced. You need it in your email. I know Google and Yahoo now put it as a one unsubscribe link at the top, but it does not mean that you take it out of your email. It should be in your email somewhere as well. This also decreases your chances of being put in the spam folder. But deliverability is becoming a hot topic. We're still not there. A lot of email service providers are now providing like dashboards with deliverability metrics. The problem
Mhm.
is they're basing it based off of their standards. So like, I don't know which ESP you use, but like for most of my clients, they use Klaviyo. Klaviyo has a deliverability tab, and it tells you, okay, you have a 90% deliverability rate based on our metrics, which are basically your spam rate is 0.3% or less. Your open rates, your click rates are great. Your bounces are low. However, there's missing parts there because Google does not give feedback to Klaviyo. So that
Okay.
spam rate that you're seeing in Klaviyo does not include Google, which is typically your biggest list makeup. So your entire list is usually made up of like 60 to 70% Gmail users. You need Google Postmaster to monitor your spam rates there because that feedback is not coming back. So what you're seeing in Klaviyo as your 90% deliverability rate could be misleading. A lot of email marketers and agencies that aren't very like versed in deliverability are heavily relying on those metrics, which are again misleading or not. It's not the full picture. So it's kind of hard for them to really make the right decisions for their clients. This is one thing that I am trying to educate and put out more information on, and how to like really hone in on the deliverability aspect of the business. Like you need to check your domain health, you need to check your IP reputation. All of that matters. If you have like a high spam rate one day does not mean your entire program is, tarnished or it needs to be rebuilt or you're going to end up in the spam folder. So it's just like, it's a big topic this year that needs a lot of covering and education because I think people are just catching up, especially in the DTC world. They're just catching up on how deliverability is going to be affecting their programs. And we're not stopping at Google and Yahoo. Microsoft is also coming in with these regulations, and we're going to see more of it as we go.
Yeah. It's one of those things I think most people they'll make a change and they'll be like, what happened? And then they have to kind of catch up and figure it out, right?
Right. And I mean, a lot of people, like, even when they put their records in, their SPF and into their, domain host sites, they don't even know if they're putting it right. Like, how do you check for that? How do you read your headers? Or all of that matters because one misalignment, even if you were like inboxing before and you misalign your SPF or DKIM, that's an automatic like spam, trigger for the ISPs, which sucks because you don't need that. You need to know, like, can I get these, aligned correctly so I don't have to end up and it's typically very like shallow, like easy things to fix DTC businesses. But again, people don't have the experience or the background to understand or pinpoint the problem.
Okay. Do you have any recommendations on where people could go to learn more about how to set up their email correctly?
I love LinkedIn. There's a lot of email deliverability experts on there. I can give you a list of people that you can probably attach to this podcast that they can follow. They all have blogs, but like there's server sites. I have a checklist that I probably can share as well, but I have a list of sites that we check on. So like we have, we check our domain health on MX Toolbox. About my .email is a place where you can like enter and take an email address and like do a send from your ESP, and then it'll come back with like results like showing you where you're aligned and where you're not aligned, and you can fix like those issues. I believe Laura Atkins is the owner of that. There's several other ones, but there's no specific place, and that's the crazy thing about delivery. There is no specific place to learn everything. However, what I found the best is to follow these experts that are putting out a lot of information every single day on their blogs, on LinkedIn, that are very useful. So I can definitely provide that information for people that, want to reach out or just like look at the free resources are on those websites.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, because I think part of the problem, like you said, is they just don't know where to go. And there's really not just like a step-by-step process. If you do this, you're going to be good, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and I struggled with this at the beginning too, because I searched up and down trying to find just somebody or something to hold on to. And there really isn't one place to learn everything about deliverability. But there are several people that do have. So there are several places that you can go and learn about a little bit of deliverability everywhere. This is also something that we're trying to work on, like create the checklist, create the resources that you need. People are free to reach out to us as well. We do a free audit for you for email deliverability to make sure like you're good. And we also give you that checklist. So we do have that in place. But again, like you said, there is not one place that you can just like go and get this information.
So when it comes to email marketing, what would you say are some of the biggest mistakes that companies make?
Some of the biggest mistakes most companies make are, the number one is they collect emails, even if it's consent based, but they don't qualify the traffic. So when somebody opts in and, you send them a thank you for, signing up to our whatever newsletter, our, blog, whatever it is, there's no nurturing sequences in place to really qualify who's really opening, clicking, and buying from you, or, engaging with your emails, over time. And this is where like automations are big. So automations, you should always have an automation attached to any opt-in on the front place, on like your front, whatever we call the front traffic. So
Hmm.
if you're coming through an ad, if you're coming through social media, a blog on SEO, anywhere really, organic, webinar, whatever it is you're signing people up to, you should have some type of nurture. I usually like to do like 2 to 3 emails just to like get to know them, get to know what they want out of our business. And also it helps me know what they're into, what they're clicking on in the emails. And that's one big mistake they make. And the reason this is a mistake is because, again, you're not qualifying the traffic, and you can't segment your list for quality when you don't qualify your traffic. So you're just adding everybody to this big list, and then you're going to go send out a campaign. You blast that email campaign, and everybody's on that list. So you're going to get a lower engagement touch point. So like your opens might be low, your clicks are low. That's because you don't even know what these people are signing up for. People sign up to your list for different reasons. And the nice thing about automation is you get to know them before you even get to blast them through a campaign. So that's like one of the big mistakes I see. The second big mistake is actually cleaning up your list. So big businesses will come to me and say, I have 100,000 people on my list. I want to send to everybody. And I'm just like, the problem here is it's hurting your deliverability. This is where deliverability is a big thing. Like if you blast 100 people, 100,000 people you haven't sent to in like 2 years, but now you want to send an email to, and you get a high spam rate, a low open rate, Google and Yahoo are going to sound the alarms and be like, this is a bad sender. We're going to put you in spam. And this is why cleaning up your list and only sending to engaged audiences and sending relevant information to that engaged audience matters, because over time, your domain health is going to be affected by your practices, which is where deliverability again is an issue. And if you're in spam, nobody sees you. So those are the two big ones I see with clients is they build lists that they don't qualify traffic through, and then they don't clean up that list to send to the right segments. So
Do you think there's a magic number as far as like how often you should email your clients?
establishing cadence is, again, depends on your business. D2C, in the D2C world, in the e-commerce world, we send more often. When I start with a client who's sending 1 or twice a week, we usually build up to 4 to 5 times. And as that
Wow.
as that business grows and that list grows, our emails get more during the week. So we can send up to 9 to 10 emails, but we're not sending to the same lists. We are segmenting, and we're getting a little bit more granular. But if you're starting out and you have a new business, or you have a lower, if you have anything under like 10,000, subscribers, I usually just tell, the important thing is being consistent with your cadence. So if you send once a week, stick to once a week until you get that down, and then build on like 2 a week, and then 3 a week. Not all businesses need 4 to 10 emails a week, like I said. Some, especially like service based, you can send as many as you want or as little as you want. But for me, the bare minimum needs to be once a week. And the reason is you need to establish consistency with Google and Yahoo as well as a sender to keep your domain health and reputation up with them. And also to stay top of mind of your subscribers. So like right now we're entering Q4, and we're going to see a huge surge in businesses you haven't heard from all year, who are just going to be sending tons of emails to buy from you. That's the worst thing you can do, ignore your list all year long and then just blast them in Q4. Don't do that. So cadence really depends on your business size and what you have to offer. But I always, advise my clients, let's start with consistency. So 1 email and then add another email until we establish that cadence and make sure that we can do it consistently throughout the year. And then we can add on. But don't ever, send 6 emails 1 week and then, don't email for like a couple months and then come back. because
Right.
the list, you need to keep the list warm and you need to be at top of mind of that list. When you don't email them for that length of time, a lot of people go cold, and that affects also your deliverability over time. So
Right. But I'm surprised it's that high. I wouldn't have guessed that you would send that many emails. Do you have a problem of finding things to talk about?
I don't actually. This is kind of like our superpower in the
Okay.
win box. We call it the win box, and we should probably buy the domain the idea box because I never run out of ideas for clients. We do have a like contact calendar. So I will look at your business and I can pull maybe 10 to 15 topics that you can talk about every single month at a different angle. And then we use that to like add the repetition in there. So like we're not like thinking, so like if you have a blog, let's look at the blog. What does it talk about? And then I'll pull like like main topics that we can just keep going with adding information like each week. Like so we can send a blog each week and stick to a main topic. So yeah, like we establish also a routine content, we call it. So like with DTC, testimonials and UGCs are big. So we will always add two of those every single month. So we know we're sending two of those. We'll never get, what differs with our strategy is I look at our customers' testimonials and I will pull a problem that the product solved. And then I will create a topic, like call out the problem and then use the testimonial to sell the product. And that works really well. And we just do this, month after month, year after year. And it works so well because the best way to sell a product is through your customers' testimonials. So yeah, we have a contact calendar that we use for our clients.
Wow. I'd love to live inside your brain for a day.
I'm not sure about that. It's
Oh man, this has been really good. So we usually wrap things up with what we call the $1,000,000 question. So this is the $1,000,000 bill that we offer our clients. But so the $1,000,000 question, as an expert in your industry, what's one actionable strategy that you think would have the biggest impact on an e-commerce brand right now?
auditing your list. And I'll tell you, we talked about segmentation a lot, right? And I
Hmm.
will tell you the one big problem most DTC businesses and email marketing agencies handling DTC businesses do is they over segment their list. So they are leaving out a lot of their actual list that are buyers and engagers. And I'll give you a story. I took on a client last year that was with an agency for like 3 years, and they were using 30,000 of their 450,000 list as a segment. They were only sending to 30,000. I think they went up to maybe 45 at one point, but then they stuck to 30,000. Over this year of working together, we've added back 150,000 engagers back to that list. And that's where the biggest mistake most DTC founders make. And the strategy is you need to understand your life cycle so that you can expand your list and keep those engagers in. Not everybody buys at the same time. The thing is we use a tactic where we make sure our deliverability is not touched at all. So like our deliverability is top notch for this client still. And we were able to bring back 150,000 more engagers, and we will increase that as time goes. But that's the biggest strategy that every single DTC founder needs to take to their email marketer and make sure that they're not excluding these engagers that don't engage every 30 days. They don't have to, or 90 days. Some people don't engage, for a year or a year and a half. Like you got to figure out where that line is. And the reason that most people are scared of that is because they don't understand deliverability, and we are working on that. But that is the biggest strategy, is expand your list by understanding the life cycle of your product and their repurchase history.
Wow. Okay. So we are two peas in a pod. I mean, I love ratings and reviews and that whole world, and that's what I've spent most of my career on. and you're on the email side. It's fun when you get to do a deep dive with someone that knows so much about a specific topic, especially in e-commerce and D2C. So if somebody wants to work with you, or they want some help with figuring out their email,
Yeah.
or putting together an email strategy, how does somebody get a hold of you?
So you can access all our services on thewinbox.com. You can book a call strategy, you can book an audit strategy, and we also have done for you management for one time or ongoing. So you can book there. We usually do a 30-minute discovery call, so that's complimentary. So if you just want to hop on a call with me and just talk it out, feel free to do that as well. And then they can follow me on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is usually where I write most of my personal experience and thoughts and all that. So if you want to
Okay.
engage with me one-to-one, LinkedIn is also a good place.
Okay, awesome. Well, we'll definitely put those links down below. Thanks, Israa, for being on the show. We really appreciate it. And guys, go and get a hold of Israa and figure out how to maximize your email, because it's such a powerful resource that I'm guilty of this as well. I don't leverage it and take care of it like I should.
It's easy to let it slip.
Right. Yep. So go check that out. Read some of her stuff on LinkedIn. We'll put the links below this video. And thanks for checking out this podcast. And we will talk to you on our next episode. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.